Did you make the right decision leaving rap?
I did. Everything now that we see playing out was all the things I escaped. The car, the shine, the loan, Puff Daddy, Craig Mack,
Biggie Smalls.
the Biggie Smalls. So even though I made those decisions and it cost me money, that's why I got with Killer and gave me the money back. I didn't lose no money.
This whole situation involving Diddy's former hired workers going on a press tour has been absolutely wild. The revelations they've dropped are almost too much to process. One of these former workers, who actually testified during Diddy's trial, is now doing interviews to promote his book, and he's left everyone stunned from Cameron to Vlad TV to even Mase, who's had first-hand experience with Diddy. The man at the center of this storm is known as Sherry Hayes, aka the Punisher, and his stories about the infamous freak-offs are disturbing. One such story involved him realizing, way too late, the dark reality behind his hire. When Sherry was initially brought in, he didn't even know what kind of situation he was stepping into. The first contact came from someone using the fake name Janet, who turned out to be Cassie. She said it was her birthday and that her husband allowed her to book a dancer for a private party. She provided a time, date, and hotel location. He quoted her $200. Nothing seemed off, just another standard booking.
They was just hiring a regular party. Cassie hit me directly, said her name was Janet, and said it was her birthday. So her husband said she could hire a dancer. So I just booked it like a regular party. At the time, it was like $200. I gave her a quote. She said she was going to be there with some friends. They gave me an address and the time to show up. And I'm thinking I'm showing up to do a party, just a regular little striptease.
The way they found him was simple. Standard SEO. Sherry's business is solid. If you searched male stripper for hire in NYC, his site will be one of the top results. So it wasn't like Diddy and Cassie specifically targeted him. They just clicked, called, and he happened to pick up.
All my marketing and stuff for my business is like SEO, so Google searches. So if you go online in the New York City area and you put in male strippers for hire or whatever, my website's gonna come up. So they just clicked on the website and called the number, and I just happened to pick up the phone. I don't think they were looking for me specifically.
Right.
I just picked up the phone.
Got you.
According to Sherry, he showed up expecting a basic private event, but the location raised eyebrows. It was a high-end hotel. And this trend continued for the rest of his professional dealings with them. We're talking Trump Tower, Essex House, and a place on Central Park West. He couldn't even remember all the venues off the top of his head. Every single one was ultra-luxurious. One suite at the London Hotel went for $30,000 a night. The lavish settings alone made it clear this wasn't an average client.
On the lines of super high-end, super suites. One of the suites, man, in the London Hotel, it was so crazy when I got out of it. I Googled it, and the joint was like $30K a night, yo.
Wow.
I never seen nothing like this in my life, man. The hotel room looked like, you know that scene in the Titanic when they walk in that ballroom and the stairway well comes down?
Right.
Like the hotel room was crazy.
Once inside, Cassie laid all out. This wasn't just about personal pleasure. It was a scene. Candles lit the room, furniture covered in white sheets, and a single chair was placed across from a large couch. Her so-called husband would enter later, sit in the corner, and silently watch. He never spoke directly to Sherry, not once. All communication was through Cassie. If Diddy wanted a new angle, more oil, or a lighting change, he'd whisper to her, and she'd relay the message.
Never started with him in the room.
Okay.
It would only be me and her, and she said at some point her husband's gonna walk in, and I'm not supposed to acknowledge him, look at him, act like he's not even in the room.
Right.
So we'll be like on the couch, let's say on one end of the room, and then like on the far end of the room, it'll be like a table with a chair, and eventually he'll come in the room and like sit in the area across the room, like watching. And
in the beginning, Sherry didn't even know it was Diddy. It actually took him over a year to figure it out. The realization came one night in a suite when he saw a message on TV that read, "Welcome, Mr. Sean Combs." That's when it hit him. The veiled man pacing in the corner? That was Diddy. And the woman? Cassie. In one deeply disturbing moment, everything made sense.
How often, pardon me, not how often, how long did it take until you realized that it was Diddy?
Bro, like, I want to say like over a year.
Get the out of here. How long did you know till it was Cassie?
So the minute I found out it was Diddy, that's when I knew it was Cassie.
So it took a year for you to find out for Cassie as well?
Yeah, yo,
Okay.
I didn't recognize it. Like when I jumped out of it, I did try to do the Google searches. Like I wanted to try to figure out who it was,
Right.
but I'm Googling a married couple.
Right.
So every result I'm getting is not leading me to the right places because they're not married.
Got you.
You know, so then, and I never found out with a visual cue. It was a hotel, the ex's house, and I would get there, let's say 2 a.m, and sometimes nothing would pop off for hours. So in this case, they threw me in like an extra room in the suite, and just to kill time, I happened to cut on the TV, but and the TV had a welcome message. So the TV said, "Yo, ex's house would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs." And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I had no idea, man.
So that's how you found out that it was Cassie.
What makes this all worse? Diddy didn't just watch. He participated in his own strange, unsettling way. Sherry described him pacing around, completely nude except for a Muslim-style veil that only exposed his eyes. In one hand, he held a bottle of Astroglide. He would walk around, stroking himself, making gestures, but never addressing Sherry directly. All commands still came through Cassie.
Yeah, man. Every time, you know, it was obviously something he was into in terms of visually watching this. Yo. So
What was being done with the Astroglide though? Paul.
I guess he's using it as lubricant to beat off. You know what I'm saying? That was, you know, he's pleasuring himself during the action. So I'm obviously he's using that for lube.
Do you consider Puff a cuckold?
Yeah, I mean, the whole time, that's what I thought it was.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's because you keep using the word voyeur. This is cuckold activity.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, we're going to step it up to cuckold.
Yeah. So I'm saying voyeur because that's what she said to me.
But it didn't stop there. In one session, after working with him multiple times, Diddy escalated things. This time, they were in the bedroom, not the living room. Diddy began circling the bed while Sherry and Cassie were involved in the act. Suddenly, Diddy tossed a stack of $100 bills onto bed and said, "I'm enjoying this." That stack became Sherry's payment for the night. $2,000, which was his standard rate per session. Sometimes he'd work full weekends, Friday to Sunday, and walk away with $6,000.
The bedroom, he's in a closer proximity because he's walking around the bed. And at some point, like almost at like the strip club, he took like a stack of hundreds, just threw it on the bed while we was while me and her was having sex, and we both was like what's going on? And he just was like, nah, I'm enjoying this shit. And you know, we just kept doing what we was doing.
Right.
Every single time I came, it was $1,200 or $2,000. But like I said, sometimes I could come 3 days in a row.
Right. So,
You know, so it would be $1,200, $2,000, $1,200 for that. You know what I'm saying?
for that session.
3 days. Yeah, exactly.
Despite the money, Sherry made it very clear. He was never comfortable, especially once he realized it was Diddy. The paranoia hit hard, not because of what was happening to him in those moments, but because of what could happen. Growing up in Harlem, he'd heard plenty of rumors. He said there were even moments when Diddy spoke and he thought he heard him say, "I wish I could enter him." Sherry's nerves were so bad, he started popping pills just to get through the sessions, just to stay hard enough to do what he was paid to do.
Paid for.
The whole time I'm semi-paranoid. Like I wrote in my bro, for real, I got a hearing problem.
Right.
And sometimes when he would give her directions, I would hear like something completely different. Like he'll say, "Yo, I like the position you in," and I'm like, "Yo, did he just say I wish I could penetrate him?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
When asked if he ever had unprotected encounters with Cassie, Sherry admitted Yes, multiple times. The first time, it was with Diddy's verbal permission. He told him to go ahead and have a good time. After that, it became routine. But every session had one non-negotiable rule. Sherry had to finish on or around Cassie, never inside. The session wasn't over unless that happened.
And she kind of looked at him and he was like, yo, go ahead, have a good time. And I was wild reckless. I just was what it was.
So it's only one time you went raw, you repeatedly went.
That was, let's say that was the 4th time, and then it was every time to the last time.
Got you.
All of this was revealed during Cameron's podcast. And Cameron's reaction? Hilarious, to say the least.
I saw it as an opportunity, man, and I was just trying to come through to, come up whatever way I could with that easy money, how I saw it.
Yeah, I ain't knocking my nigga. How was that though?
Sherry said this wasn't just about lust. It was a system, a well-oiled machine designed to chew people up behind the scenes. He never tried to pursue anything personal with Cassie. Even when she said she felt safe around him, he knew the situation wasn't about romance. It was about functionality. She needed someone she could tolerate to make it all look real. Still, Sherry knew the boundaries. He had seen what happened to other men who caught feelings, and he wasn't going down that road.
I also seen that you say Cassie said she felt comfortable with you. Did you take that as she liked you?
Not really. I knew it was clear, man. This was something we were setting up for her dude, right? At the time, I'm thinking her husband, because she said this to me the very first encounter, right? So I didn't think it was a personable, she's into me. But obviously, if this is something that has to be done based on their sexual fetish, well, she's going to do it with somebody that, all right, I'm comfortable with this dude,
Right.
So I always took it as, however the vibe was, however things went, it worked for her. So that's why she said, I want to call you back,
And the strangest part? There was no jealousy from Diddy. None. That's what made it even more twisted. He wasn't just allowing it. He was thriving on it. He fed off the entire situation.
Puff ever appeared jealous while you guys were having intercourse or participating with each other?
Not at all, man. Not at all. It was like, like I told you, the focus was making sure he got the right visuals, the lighting was right, put more baby oil on. Like he was into it from an enjoyment standpoint, not. Yeah.
So, but you saying he basically never was jealous. Cassie ever reach out to you without Puff?
Nah.
And it got darker. Sherry claimed that Diddy even asked him once to finish on him. Now Mase, who worked closely with Diddy, is speaking out. He says the emotional trauma from being tied to that label was too real, too deep.
Decision leaving rap?
I did. Everything now that we see playing out was all the things I escaped. The car, the shine, the loan, the Puff Daddy, the Craig Mack,
Biggie Smalls.
the Biggie Smalls. So even though I made those decisions and it cost me money, that's why I got with and they gave me the money back. I didn't lose no money.
Mase added that if Diddy tries to drag him into this mess, he's ready to visit him in jail.
Next week, I want to put it out to the fans. I'll let the fans vote on it. Unless you want to vote on it, they asking me to come to the Diddy trial. You think I should go this week?
It's up to you. I don't know your relationship.
No.
What is your relationship?
Why you gotta use relationship as a word?
I mean, that's what it is. Like, well, I don't know what else you want me to say. How, y'all cool or not cool? I don't know what else you want me to say. Like,
Nah, just a few people reached out to me, asked me, was I going out? I was trying to figure out a way I could go at least a day.
what's the question? Am I going?
Yeah.
I'll go with you. If you going, I'm gonna go with you. If you going, I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah.
Just me randomly going? Nah, I ain't going by myself. If you gonna go with it.
And the internet? Oh, the reactions have been loud. One user posted, "Puff pacing back and forth beating his joint has to be traumatizing." Another wrote, "Well, Diddy's mask has finally fallen. Now he has to face the consequences, mentally, physically, and his next home will be prison. What's really going on behind the scenes here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're into unfiltered stories and straight up truth, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for what's coming next."